I am Darryl Mamela, or Red, from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I play acoustic guitar, singer-songwriter, and currently recording under the name Redd78. My main influence is I'll get into musically. I was in grade 8, and we were doing the high school orientations for the next year, and that we went to the Old Salt Fleet on Grays, and they were doing their talent show. And up until then, I was into the grunge and alternative scene and stuff like that, but that was kind of out of reach as far as I was concerned, even for those bands, and I didn't seem a very plausible thing to be able to do bands, and I had never seen a local band or a high school band in my life. So we went there for their talent show. There was a band called Sponge, who some people remember became smoother later, and they were on the Sonic Onion roster, were playing. And when I seen them, I was like, holy fucking shit, what is this? And right after that, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to play music. And the next year I had my first guitar. And yeah, so that was our main influence getting into music. What got me into punk and hardcore music? Well, that's two different stories. Punk, I think the first time I would say that I can remember was our friend Steve McRae, and on the school bus, and he always had to sit at the front because he's always causing shit. But our bus driver Gail was actually pretty cool, and she'd let him play his mixtapes on there, and it would be the same 3 mixtapes over the week. It'd be Beastie Boys, Check Your Head, it'd be Minor Threat, and it'd be the Misfits. So that kind of started me on it, and then my buddy Brian Cook he got into punk, and he started getting CDs and stuff like that. A lot of Epitaph and Fat Record shit, but like all kinds of stuff, and that's where it just kind of started me on that. And then I kind of had to, so I started there and kind of had to backtrack a little bit to like the older bands and stuff like that. But so yeah, that was my first kind of enclave into punk. But hardcore is totally attributed to Steve Reniewick. I met him in 98, 99, and we started hanging out. And up until that time, I knew like 2 hardcore bands. I knew Agnostic Front and Madball, and didn't really know jack shit about hardcore. And that certainly changed when I met Steve. And it just started with him going over to his place. He played me some CDs. I remember one of the first being Buried Alive. Then Deathbred, who I love that band to this day, and just I could go on, but like and it's still continuing through this day. And obviously, knowing him through all these years, going to shows, dude, he's still introducing me to new bands, and we go to shows together, and also the whole Oi, which I had no idea what the fuck that was about, and he got me into all that stuff too, and I'm forever thankful for that. And it keeps going, and I wanted to keep going. So yeah, that were my influences right there. The first concert I ever went to was in grade 7. I was with my friend Brian Cook, his brother Justin, and my brother, and we went to Cops to see Bon Jovi and Wild Tea in the Spirit. And don't remember much other than Bon Jovi's hair was cut, so he lost all his power there, so he didn't really have anything going on. But it was, it was the first concert there. It was what it was. The first punk show is really hard to remember. I think it was either with Steve McRae's band, which I can't remember, at the Yellow Sub in Burlington, or Sector 7 at the X Club. That's as far back as I can remember as far as seeing punk for the first time. I also seen Trunk in Burlington, but how that went together chronologically, I don't know. But yeah, it was either one of those 3 shows that happened. And hardcore, it was Steve Reniewick's band that he was in at the time when I met him, called Near the End, and I believe it was in London. and that was the first time. And yeah, that's the first show I remember for hardcore that I was going to. So yeah, a little fuzzy. And not long after, near the end, we went to the Reverb, and Steve Reniewick was filming that night. He was Sick of It All and Ruin Nation. And the Sick of It All, and all the bands, like I remember Ruin Nation, Sick of It All, and they just blew my socks right the hell off. And that was just so much energy, and that was the first big hardcore show I ever went to, and that was amazing. So yeah, that was that sticks with me. Favorite shows, well, I heard a lot of people talk before about like every show is a different experience, and it certainly is. Um, the shows that stick out in my mind are See the Death Threat in Oakville, which is the first time I saw them, and they've been a big staple of mine for my life. And seeing Bounce of Souls at the Underground in Hamilton, and Sick of It All, which I mentioned before. The entire, like, I've been to 3 of the Hellfests down in Syracuse, but the first one is always going to be special to me that I went to. I believe it was in 2001, and that was just such a crazy weekend, and we saw so many bands there and just had such an awesome time. I went down with my buddy Steve, and just amazing friggin' time. Cockney Rejects at This Ain't Hollywood, which was actually my first Oi show that I ever went to, and that blew my mind. It was such a great night there too, and basically every show I've seen at This Ain't Hollywood, and it'll never be enough. I saw a lot of shows. I didn't get to see a lot more because I'm lazy, but yeah, and a few more like seeing Face to Face at the Absinthe, which was a great show, and that was just a few years ago. And yeah, there's too many to count, but yeah, those are the bands, some of the shows that stuck out in my mind that were like just really great nights. And we had 100 Demons also, and twice we see them in Oakville, and then we see them with the new singer down at the Sonic Onion, and that was some great times there too. So we had a good. It was such a good time. I always remember those shows, and every show I try to remember. Always a great time. So the craziest things, like I can get into a whole bunch of like fights and crap, and I don't want to do that. But 2 things kind of spark my mind, and one is personal. In 2007, my buddy Steve Reniewick got in, and Lindsay Reniewick got into a near-fail car accident, and I'll take this moment to say that we're so thankful to have them still with us and in one piece, because that was a really dark day, I'm sure, for everyone. But the point I was making about this is why he was recovering. Obviously he wasn't able to come to shows and stuff like that, and we were going to see the Bounce of Souls in Hamilton at the Underground. Great show. I had a great time, lots of buddies there. The start of that show was, I was already plastered by the time I got down there. And while we were in line, the dude from Singer of Strike Anywhere was coming by, and then I very loudly, I was like, dude, you gotta play that song that goes like, dude. And he's like, I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna do that. And I don't think he did that, but like anyway, he did play he did play it, but it was awesome because and then the Bounce of Souls just kicked ass. It's the best show I've ever seen from them. My wife Jody got a ton of great pictures that night. It was just a great time. And after the show, we were talking to some members of the band, and went up to Greg Antonito, the singer of Bounce of Souls, and asked for a picture. And my wife got a picture. And then I asked him to do something that I didn't think he would do. I asked him if he could do a little shout out to Steve, because he couldn't be here tonight, and I wasn't expecting. He didn't know me. He didn't know Steve. He didn't, I would have totally been okay with him saying no, but without even blinking an eyelid, he just put out this. We didn't get the video, but like we got the sound of him just doing a little shout out. It was something I can't remember exactly verbatim what it said, but it was along the lines of like, "Hey Steve, sorry you couldn't be here tonight." He goes, "Hope you recover soon." He goes, "All the love to you." So, and that just blew my fucking mind. That he didn't have to do that, but without even blinking, he just did it. And that was so crazy. And like, I thought that was really awesome. And it just, to me, that was a crazy thing that I saw. Now, the other one was a little bit more funny. I was actually with Steve and our other friend Steve McRae and that down at and Brian Cook down to see Agnostic Front at the Underground. And it was before Agnostic Front went on, and I was heading to the bathroom, and Steve McRae came out, and I was getting a little bit of the gut by then, and he grabbed my gut. He's like, "You get a little around there, Red, eh?" And then he fucked off. And then Vinny Stigma from Agnostic Front came around and grabbed my stomach and said, "You get a little around there, eh, Red?" And I'm just like, I think I almost pissed my pants at that point because I was just kind of shocked that he just did that. But like, that was pretty crazy. Like, that's all I have to say about that. But that, yeah, those are some crazy shit that I've seen. So, rundown of my past and current band. So, I think it was like early grade 9. I was in a band called Gap at 2Ps. It's not the fucking Gap if everybody gave a shit about that. Like I wouldn't name a band after a fucking store, but I was not very good with names, so that's what we came up with. So that went on for about a year. Then I started the first lineup of what would be like 5 or 6 lineups of a band called Pulse, and that ran pretty much almost to the end of high school, pretty much to the end of high school, and we had a good time doing that. It was always a different kind of music with every different people that joined the band, and so we had a good time doing that. So that went to the end of high school. After that, it was like a really one-off, one-show band called Disconnected. That was off the whim. We just named it like because for lack of, seemed to have a problem with coming up with names right when we're supposed to play a show. And so that lasted for about 6 months or so, like that. And then went pretty quiet till after I met Steve. About a year after that, we started a band, Laid to Rest. Obviously not the Laid to Rest now, but that's what we call it. It was about 2001. We played our show in Kitchener, and that was a good. It was just a friend party band kind of shit. It was with Steve Reniewick, our friend back then from Luke Reed, Steve McRae, and Mike Franks, and yeah, that that went on for a while. We had a good time doing that, and they kind of just phased out with everybody doing other shit and that, and then again, me and Steve Reniewick and Johnny Ibe started a band, Death from Above. Again, not the one that's playing now, but it was. I won't get into why we called it that. That was. It's a different story, but we played in that for a while, had some fun doing that, and after that, life happened, and I started a job, and met my wife and all that, and I didn't really play for probably till about a year before my child was born, and I picked up the acoustic, and I started playing a couple old songs that I wrote, and then started building on that for the last 7 years, and now just released an EP last month, and total DIY one, and went under the name Redd78, and just going to keep recording under that, and hopefully play some live shows pretty soon. What do I like about being a musician? Well, I just like playing music. I like writing music. You know, doing it yourself is one thing. You know that you are on your own time and can do things your own way. Like that. I do really miss being in a band or working with someone else too, because being in a band you have so many. Like I was with Steve and that, when we just we were doing our own thing and just came up with ideas and we built on them, and then rest of the band came in, and we were building on that, and just like being with a band or just with anyone, like, and you're just building on certain ideas and then watching it grow with everybody's input. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing I could see about being in. What I like about being a musician is just like just writing and having other input involved in that, and yeah, it's awesome. What I don't like is I'll try to make this as non-winded as I can, but there's like within the music scenes, the same with musicians, and that there is, you know, obviously there's people with different talents and different skill levels and all that, but what really kind of grinds my gears is that there's gatekeepers there that tell you what you can and try to put you in your place. And an example of that, I guess, would be when I was in high school. One of the 2 years of grade 12 I did, and that's not because I was doing advanced anything. So take that information with you as you will. But there was a popular teacher that wanted to start a guitar club, and we thought this is before Facebook and before everything and all that, so I thought it'd be a good way to network and learn some things from different musicians and stuff like that. But when we got there, we had to do this audition, and there's about 20 people there. Between me and my bass player and probably 2 more guys were actually were the only ones that were actually in a band doing anything. But we auditioned, so we played some cover song that we were trying out, and I thought we did a pretty good job. But they were I guess the people that announced themselves as the powers that be would pretty critical of everything, and then want us to come up with something right off the whim. And I'm like, I didn't know that where this was going, and were pretty judgmental, and so like, long story short, we were kind of like not welcomed into that, which that rejection was a little bit stung a little bit, but it never stopped me. And I guess what I'm saying about this is like there's always going to be these people who think they're the gatekeeper. Never let that stop you from doing anything you want to do. You want to play music, play music. It doesn't matter about your skill level or your talent, of which I have neither, but like I work at it really hard. And I think, you know, don't let these people tell you, because if I had to listen to them, I would have probably given it up. And I'm so glad I didn't. So never let people stand in your way of doing what you want to do. You want to play music, you want to write music, you write music. Do what you do. Riley, what's your favorite food?
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets from where?
McDonald's.
My favorite food, barbecue, anything barbecued. Shrimp, burgers, all that stuff. It's all great. So my most useless talent, well, it's not really a talent or a useless talent, more of a curse. I'm the guy who drinks like a beer or 2 beers, and I'll be hungover for the next 6 days. But never stopped me. But yeah, that's all I can say about that. But so not much of a useless talent. But I would like to say thank you very much to Steve Reniewick and Stronger Than Ever videos. This has been my buddy for over 20 years. Taught me everything I know about hardcore. Just been an overall solid guy, and I'm going to get him over here right now and just say happy 50th show.
Happy 50th, buddy.
Cheers.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.